I've never heard a podcast listener say, I wish my favorite podcaster cared less about their show. Instead, they tend to be appreciative and reward those podcasters who work to master their craft. Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Making a podcast that people want to recommend takes a lot of time, as you know, a lot of effort, often from lots of other people, like a full team of people putting in the effort, and of course, a lot of skill by those peoples. But of course, many podcasters don't put in a lot of time, effort, or skill into their show. In fact, I'll go out on a limb and say most of the millions of podcasts available in whatever directory you use right now fall into that category. These are podcasts, most podcasts are there, where the host or the hosts didn't bother to master the craft of podcasting. And yes, podcasting, like most other pursuits, is in fact a craft. And like other pursuits, the access to the tools and technology to ply that craft, broadly speaking, access to those tools and technology is increasing. But a lower bar to the tech and the tools doesn't necessarily mean a lower bar to acquire the skills necessary to master the art of podcasting, as you can tell by listening to a lot of shows. So get better. Work on mastering your craft. We all need to do that. If anything I just said up there describes you, then seriously, there are people out there which will help you improve your skills. You can take a class on how to make better sounding audio. There are some masterful people that I have in my repertoire that I will be happily to refer you to, who teach people how to make amazing sound with the equipment that they have. You can enroll in classes that promise to build specific skills, not general interest podcasts. Look, again, this whole week we've been talking about what happens when your growth has plateaued. So you get the concept. You don't need podcasting 101 stuff anymore. You need skill mastery, and you need to figure out where your skills are lacking. You might need to invest. You might need to invest in new equipment. You don't start there. You should not have to invest. People can make amazing sounding podcasts and do make amazing sounding podcasts with the cheapest microphones on the planet, with free audio editing software. This is not something you have to buy your way into. You may have to pay someone to teach you how to do it better, or you may have to pay to acquire masterful skills someone else is giving to you or selling to you. But you do not have to start by dropping in a whole bunch of cash. If you're going to invest, and you probably should invest, then you want to invest in your time. But you're saying, okay, Evo, what if I've done all of that? What if I know I'm making a masterful show? I've mastered the craft of podcasting. I've done everything I can to make sure that my show is easy for people to recommend, easy for my listeners, my hardcore audience to recommend. And I've even done so far as to survey my audience, the people who listen to me every day, week, month, whatever. I've surveyed them. It's a good bit of information. I know exactly what they want from me, and I know how to deliver the unexpected. I've done all of those things, but I'm still not growing. How do I blast past that plateau, you say? Well, there are a couple of ways you can do that, I think. One is that you can hire someone to make sure that you're sure about all of those things. Hire someone to audit all this thing that you think you're doing right. Let them audit that survey that you put together and your survey data. There's a lot of information locked inside of surveys that we don't quite get because we're too close to the data. So having someone else look at it, they might go, oh, here's an interesting point that you didn't even realize. You may pay someone to take an objective look at how you think you're making it easy to recommend your show. What are you doing? Have you done all those things we talked about yesterday? You may say yes, but paying someone to audit the process can give you that objective opinion. That same person might even be able to interview your existing long-time listeners and get honest evaluations. They may not be telling you the truth, your audience. They might tell that to someone who you've hired to do this. And once you've paid that person to audit your entire process, then act on their findings. If it points you in various directions, take those steps. That's option one. The second path is, well, strive for contentment, I guess. I mean, maybe the audience you have built right now, your loyal audience who hangs out with you every time you put an episode out, the 100 people or the 1,000 people or the 100,000 people, whatever that, maybe that's what you have. And it's going to stay niche and around that group with very modest goals. Very modest growth, I should say. Is that enough for you to achieve your goals? For many, it certainly is. Maybe that's good enough for what you want to do. But maybe it's not. And if it's not, then it's not. If that's not going forward, that may tell you that that's not going forward. Try something else. Now, I know you're asking, well, hang on a minute. Are my two options only pay someone to see if I'm doing a good enough job or just live with low growth? Can I market or advertise my way to achieve my goals? Yeah, well, as I said in the first episode of this series, that can and oftentimes does work for some podcasters. But before you start throwing money down the promotional chute, remember, it's no substitute for fixing the problems with your show's recommendability. Spending money to market or advertise or otherwise promote a show that your most ardent fans can't be bothered to recommend seems rather unproductive to me. Now, speaking of unproductive things, yesterday I mentioned I was eating my own dog food and have put my own survey out to survey you, the Podcast Pontification listener. And thank you very much to the 9 of you, yes, that's the total number, 9 of you who have taken the 5 minutes and filled out the survey. Now, if you're not one of those 9, I would greatly appreciate it. I know you're busy. The weekend's coming up. We don't put episodes out of Podcast Pontifications on Friday. So maybe now's a great time, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would fill out that survey. I'm already seeing some excellent data and suggestions from there, so these are helping Podcast Pontifications get better in the future. Your input matters to me. podcastpontifications.com/survey. Simple. Put the name of the website in /survey. And yes, there'll be a link to it in the episode notes as well. Now, if you received value from my breaking down and unpacking of the recommendability challenges, I thank you very much to Tom Webster from Edison Research for inspiring this talk with your inspiring keynote from Podcast Movement 2021. If you got value from my thoughts, please return that value. We call that value for value in the podcasting world by visiting buymeacoffee.com/evoterra. And I shall be back on Monday with yet another Podcast Pontifications. Cheers.